Charlotte Hornets, I'm going to get Myles Turner.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
We are hanging up the phone.
He's a free agent. Break it down, bro.
Unless you are sending me Lamelo Ball.
No, he's a free agent.
Unless you're sending me Brandon Miller.
Y'all not going to say nothing. He's a free agent.
You hear what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff Teague has spoke out involving the Charlotte Hornets and what they need to do to get the ball rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, I like this kind of talk, believe it or not. Pause. I like that Jeff Teague is talking about the Charlotte Hornets competing. And if they would have signed Myles Turner, that would be spectacular. Obviously, this is going to be a long shot for the Charlotte Hornets to get Myles Turner. We all know that the Indiana Pacers are trying to build a championship roster. We don't really know what's going to happen there, but potentially Myles Turner could be offered a boatload of cash, and hopefully the Charlotte Hornets could get that money right and bring in an all-star player next to LaMelo Ball, MB1, the one of one. Now, the Hornets, they will be behind teams like OKC, San Antonio, Utah, I think even Detroit with the cap space. But they should have money, and I know, they could wiggle some things around, pause, and create more cap space to really make it happen. But also what Jeff Teague talked about was the Charlotte Hornets, what Jeff Peterson should do. And what they should do is recreate what's going on with the Indiana Pacers. You have LaMelo Ball, MB1, the one of one. That's basically like a souped up Tyrese Halliburton, like on another level. You understand? When healthy, you pair him with a Myles Turner, that's a playoff team, certified. So the Hornets need to, it could be as simple as just signing Myles Turner. Now, if you listening to this, I know you like, what in the world is going on? How you getting Myles Turner there? Well, don't you got Miles Bridges? Don't you got Mark Williams? Well, Mark Williams was involved in that nasty situation that turned into really a debacle in LA, and Mark Williams is really feeling the after effects of what happened. I believe that you might need to send Mark Williams off, believe it or not, because I just think, in the situation, it's like the Lamar Odom thing. When Lamar Odom thought he was moving on and, things got wild and you seen what happened. Now, basically, Mark Williams, he wasn't too enthusiastic about coming back to the Hornets. The man was basically going to be in La La Land in LA. But now he's back with the Hornets. So when you hear his talk, even with the Lakers when they lost, he was trying to stick it to the Lakers. So clearly he wouldn't mind a change of scenery. Don't be surprised if the Hornets just let him go cut ties. And if you're going to do something like that, you got to go all in with a guy like Myles Turner. I just like what Jeff Teague said. Could you imagine a pick and roll with Myles Turner and LaMelo Ball? That's exactly what the doctor ordered. The Hornets have went through, just hell, really for a long time, but just with LaMelo being there, they have fell out of position. How can you get back to where Borrego had you? You go get Myles Turner. Myles Turner this season averaging 15 points per game, shooting 48% from the field, 39% from three, 6 rebounds, a steal, 2 blocks. So you see what he's bringing defensively. The man is a two-way player, so the man is just the truth. Jeff Teague said the right thing, and I want to give another thing what he said. He said how LaMelo, but he brought up Brandon Miller. You understand? He said that Brandon Miller was better than Andrew Nembhard, a much better player. So this could potentially be a really good team if you were to bring in Myles Turner. Because now you got a winner. The man he comes from a winning situation. And Myles Turner, his name was floated around the trade rumors for years. You know, it seemed like all of that got put to bed once Indiana started winning more consistently, shocking people. It seemed like once Tyrese started clicking, you know. But as I'm looking into it, Indiana, they're gonna have some issues with their cap space because they got issues going on with the luxury tax. So even bringing back Myles Turner is gonna be tough. So you got a team like Charlotte who want to throw, something crazy in the contract, extra money, X, Y, Z, that could really put, Indiana in a bind. And that's what I believe that Charlotte is going to do to them. I believe that they're going to put them in a bind, and if they were to get to that point, any team, they're going to put when Jeremy Lin, this is the first time I ever heard of it, the poison pill contract. The first time I heard that is when Jeremy Lin signed the deal in Houston, leaving at New York. So I could see something like that happen. Myles will be a hot commodity. He's in the Eastern Conference Finals. Teams are looking at that. I would love for Charlotte to get Myles Turner. That's exactly what we need because number one, now you have a certified all-star next to Lamelo. Not a fringe guy, not a guy who he could have made it this year. No, he's an all-star. And like I said, he wins. The Hornets need winners in this circle. There's too many losers running around, the Hornets facilities. It's time to bring people who won a championship, who come from winning, so the Hornets could get going. The veterans could sustain what they were doing, which was winning. So I mean, I don't know, what's what's going to be with the doctor order, but what I will tell you is, like we said on our live stream yesterday, the goal is for Lamelo to play in competitive, games, whether it's with the Hornets or elsewhere. So if the Charlotte Hornets are serious about building Lamelo, building with him, they didn't want to move him to San Antonio. It seemed like they shutting anything down involving Lamelo. If that's the case, make a play for another All-Star. Because now you telling the NBA and Lamelo, we are building around you. We believe in you. And, is that, because as of right now, the Charlotte Hornets are basically just in turmoil. Then they haven't got any luck in the draft of getting that number one pick. And, they paying for it. Now we got to pick through the litter of who's the best available. So, I mean, this is a tough situation for Charlotte because they need so much assistance and help. I just hope that is on his way. Shout out to Jeff Teague, man. Unbelievable podcast that he got going on. Teague was one of the first people running around with the podcast before everybody jumped on that wave. So I would like to see this happen. Let's get in the comment section and y'all let me know your thoughts. It's Flight Sports TV. Peace and love.